Michael Carrick has beaten Manchester City.
People in the area! Yes! 2-0!
Then Arsenal. And United fans are dreaming again after defeating the top two teams in the league. Signs of improvements continues for the Red Devils, and for the first time in years, United looked like the United evolved. But here's the thing, 7 years ago the same thing happened. An ex-player, an interim manager walked into Old Trafford. First game, a 5-1 win and the first time United scored 5 goals since Ferguson's last match in charge. What followed was 5 straight wins, knocked out PSG in the Champions League and the world screaming for Solskjaer to take permanent charge of Manchester United. 3 years later, he was sacked. Fast forward to today, Michael Carrick is on the same trajectory. But is it different this time? Or are we gonna watch the same movie, just with a different actor?
Crazier weeks, but I'm not sure you can count them on more than one hand.
No, yeah, I've had some crazy weeks in my time, but to be honest, it wasn't actually a crazy week.
For 27 years, one man ran Manchester United.
I think that if you're managing Manchester United for 27 years, and the important thing is it was always my mantra to make sure I kept control of the club.
Not the board, not the owners, not the players, the manager. Sir Alex Ferguson had a word for what separated him from everyone else. Ferguson believed the manager's office must be the focal point of authority at Old Trafford. The moment a player tried to take over, that was the death knell. He warned that you can't ever lose it. Once it slips, it never comes back. When Solskjaer took over from Jose Mourinho, the Portuguese coach lost the dressing room. Yes, he was a manager who brought more trophies than any other in Europe. League titles in 4 countries, 2 Champions League trophies, a reputation for bending clubs to his will and a proven winner. But by his 3rd season, Mourinho's tenure became toxic. Public feuds with Pogba, complaints about transfers, press conference that felt like warfare. Solskjaer came in originally as an interim manager, and his arrival was a breath of fresh air, a club legend who ran on nostalgia. Similar to Michael Carrick's first game in charge, both managers secured wins that made United exciting again. Solskjaer's first match, 5 goals. The last time United scored 5 in the league was Ferguson's final game, a 5-all draw to West Brom in 2013. Victories in his next 4 league games made Solskjaer the first Manchester United manager to win his first 5 league games in charge since Sir Matt Busby in 1946. And now, Carrick's winning run is uncanny. Not exactly the same because of how PSG were knocked out by Solskjaer's United, but enough to hear the cries of what Rio Ferdinand said about Ole back then.
Listen, all he's got to... Man United might not thank me, but get the contract out, put it on the table, let him sign it, let him write whatever numbers he wants to put on there, give him what he's done now since he's come in, and let him sign the contract and go. Ollie's at the wheel, man, he's doing it, he's doing his thing. Man United are back.
The board handed the Norwegian a contract before the season even ended. Then came the homecoming of Cristiano Ronaldo, and all of a sudden United needed to play to Ronaldo's strengths, rather than continue what Ole's been building at Old Trafford for 3 years. The balance was gone. The same fans who sang Ole's name quickly held banners demanding his head. From being a saviour, he became the scapegoat after their 4-1 defeat at Watford. For Carrick, he's just another interim, a safe pair of hands to keep the seat warm until the summer. They told us the board was already looking at top-class managers. Carrick is supposed to be the caretaker. So are we too early to call for Carrick to be the permanent manager? What if he doesn't get the control a manager should have? Erik ten Hag was another to not have control of the club. A manager with strong credentials at Ajax, the Dutchman arrived with a reputation for structure, intensity, and zero tolerance for ego. Early results backed him up, a League Cup in his first season. But his methods demanded total buy-in. He never got it. The Jadon Sancho exile became the symbol. Banished from the squad, forced to train and eat alone, teammates felt it had gone too far. By late 2023, reports claimed Ten Hag had lost half the dressing room. Players complained of overly intense sessions and cold man management. The disciplinarian couldn't discipline a squad that had stopped listening. And above Ten Hag, the boardroom offered no stability either. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos group took control of football operations in late 2023. Ratcliffe promised patience, long-term thinking, and end to the sacking culture. Even though Ten Hag won another trophy, this time the FA Cup, calls for his sacking were loud, but Ratcliffe's promise stood. But that didn't last long. He was sacked early in the 2024 season after a string of poor results. A manager that thought he could have control ended up losing it. Then came Ruben Amorim. Young, tactically brilliant, a league title winner at Sporting, the club knew exactly what they were getting, a 3-4-3 system and an unwillingness to compromise. When results stumbled, the pressure came to adapt, and the board again tried to give him the assurance and control he needed. The African Cup of Nations became a tournament Amorim wished it didn't happen, because he was finally forced to abandon his 3-4-3 system, and it became clear that United became exciting playing with a back four. The 4-4 draw against Bournemouth was the first time the 3-4-3 didn't happen, and United played the most exciting football since Amorim took charge. Critics circled whenever they couldn't win games, pundits demanded flexibility due to the lack of key players. The board grew nervous, and once again, a manager had lost control at United.
I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not to be the coach.
That bombshell Amorim dropped became too much. He was sacked the next day. With a decision to make, Michael Carrick was brought in to take care of Manchester United. When he walked out of the tunnel for the first time in charge against Man City, all eyes were on the starting 11. Kobe Mainoo was restored to the lineup. The formation went back to 4-2-3-1, and this is how it unfolded.
In the area, have been Manchester City in the...
A 2-0 win against their rivals, and it was more than just a win. It was a superb performance as well. In his second game away to league leaders Arsenal, it was another huge test. Arsenal were not only unbeaten at home, they hadn't conceded 3 or more goals at home since 2023, over 121 matches ago. United won 3-2, and if the Man City game brought the fans back to life, this victory against Arsenal felt even better for them. This is where the chatters come in for Carrick to take over permanently. But like what happened to Oli back then, Roy Keane wasn't sure about that. Despite the hype, Keane praised the performances, but when he was asked about the permanent job, his answer was immediate.
And at what point did then it become irresistible that Michael Carrick has to become a really strong part of this conversation about United's future?
I think if United win every game from now till the end of the season, I still wouldn't be giving him the job. Why? I just think they need something, a bigger, more experienced manager. Simple as that. Carrick could win every game. Timing coming into the job was fantastic for him, and he said it, yeah, he's enjoying it. But you enjoy management when you're winning football matches, of course. But I think the size of the club and the challenges they face over the next few years, because really, I know I've heard Jamie Carragher mention the last few weeks, you want a manager you feel will come in and get Man United winning league titles. Are we all going to sit here and believe Michael Carrick can get United winning league titles?
Keane's logic is harsh, but simple. Mourinho won league titles in 4 countries before United broke him. Ten Hag dominated the Eredivisie before the dressing room turned on him. Amorim won a Portuguese title before the board lost patience. If proven winners couldn't survive at Old Trafford, what makes an unproven interim any different? Ole had hype around him back then. His bounce lasted weeks, then months. But when Ronaldo came back, even he himself admitted the signing forced him to abandon everything he'd built. People will argue that Carrick knows the club. He played under Ferguson, he was made coach and worked with Mourinho and Ole, became caretaker and was unbeaten for all 3 games before stepping aside for Ralf Rangnick back then. Even during the time when he was with Middlesbrough, they were 21st in the Championship when he was appointed, and Carrick carried the club to a 4th place finish. His second season saw Middlesbrough reaching the semi-finals of the EFL Cup. After leaving Middlesbrough, Carrick spent months watching United closely like a fan, being a pundit for their games, going on podcasts discussing United. Which brings us to the things that helped Carrick get off to a good start. While Ruben Amorim failed on the pitch, we have to give him credit for something crucial. He didn't leave Michael Carrick a toxic wasteland, he left him a blank slate. We cannot forget the bomb squad. When Amorim exiled Rashford, Antony and Garnacho, he was doing the dirty work that nobody else dared to do. He looked at a dressing room and decided that talent without discipline was worthless. It was brutal and probably a suicidal move, but the player power era that destroyed Mourinho and Ole was effectively ended by Amorim's stubbornness. Because of that, Michael Carrick hasn't walked into a dressing room full of egos. He walked into one that has serious professionals who have been drilled in discipline and stuffed off freedom. It's easy to look at the results and assume it's just vibes. New manager energy, players trying harder because the last guy got sacked. That explains some of it, but not all of it. When you watch the City game again, Carrick didn't just motivate the players, he reorganized them completely. Ruben Amorim spent 14 months trying to make a back three work at Old Trafford. It never clicked. The whole system felt like a square peg being hammered into a round hole. Carrick walked in and ripped it up immediately. Back four, traditional shapes, players in their natural positions for the first time in over a year. Bruno Fernandes went back to being a number 10, not the hybrid role Amorim shoehorned him into. The wingers got width, the fullbacks got freedom. Within days, United looked like a completely different team. But the real change wasn't the formation, it was the mindset. Under Amorim, United tried to control games through possession, build slowly, dominate territory. It's a valid philosophy, just not one suited to this squad. Against City, Carrick flipped the script entirely. He told his players to let City have the ball. Think about that. Pep Guardiola's entire system is built on suffocating opponents with possession. Most teams panic when City keep the ball for long stretches. They chase, they press at the wrong moments, they break their own shape as they try to win it back. Carrick's United did none of that. They stayed compact, they stayed patient, they waited. And the moment City lost the ball, United exploded forward.
O'Reilly looks to get the cross in. Dorgu, 2-0! Oh, Mateus Cunha!
It was calculated. The runs were pre-planned. The passing lanes were identified before the transition even started. City had 68% possession and created almost nothing. United had 7 shots on target. City had 0 in the second half. City's expected goal rate of 0.45 in the contest was the second lowest recorded in Guardiola's 364 games in charge in the Premier League. Sir Alex Ferguson built his empire on this exact principle. He never cared about controlling the ball, he cared about controlling the moments that mattered. The instant after a turnover, the first pass, the ruthlessness to punish before the opponents could reset. Carrick played under Ferguson for 6 years. He absorbed that philosophy every single day, and against City he deployed it perfectly. The question now isn't whether Carrick understands football. He clearly does. The question is whether understanding football is enough to survive at Manchester United. Ferguson's control extended far beyond tactics. He controlled the dressing room, he controlled the board, he controlled the press, he controlled the entire culture of the club. That's what allowed him to last 27 years. Carrick has shown he can control a game, but can he control the institution? The board promised Amorim 3 years and sacked him after 14 months. Will they give Carrick time when the first bad run comes? The dressing room that fractured under Ten Hag. Will they stay united when Carrick asks them to do something they don't want to? The media that turns on every United manager eventually. Will Carrick handle the pressure when the headlines shift from praise to criticism? These aren't hypotheticals, they are things that will happen. The bad run will come, the difficult decisions will come, the scrutiny will come. Every manager who failed at United since Ferguson looked good at some point. Mourinho won trophies in his first season. Ole produced that incredible run through the winter of 2019. Ten Hag lifted the League Cup. Amorim had his moments where the system almost clicked. None of it lasted, because none of them ever had true control of the club. So here's the question, and it's not the one most people are asking. The question isn't whether Michael Carrick is good enough. The question is whether Manchester United will finally create an environment where any manager can succeed. If the board believes Carrick is the man, they have to back him completely. Through bad results, through criticism, through the moments when sacking him would be easier than defending him. Michael Carrick can beat anyone for 90 minutes, but can he keep Manchester United in the top 4 for 900 days? That's the question that will define whether this is a real turning point or just another chapter in the graveyard.